Welcome to the Leadership Purpose with Robin podcast. I'm your host, Robin L. Owens, PhD, and this is where we dive in each week to give advice, tools, and tips for high-achieving women leaders, and we talk about leadership purpose and its importance for you. I am a college professor, and when I am not doing that, I am speaking, writing, coaching, mentoring, and teaching high-achieving women leaders how to find, and not only find, but how to stay in alignment with their leadership purpose so they can make a meaningful difference right there in their career, leadership, or business. Okay, let's dive in. Before we get into the episode, I have an exciting invitation for you. Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Robin, and I want to let you know and invite you to a new group I started. It's called the Leadership Purpose Community. The Leadership Purpose Community. And it's a group that I think would be a really good fit for you as a listener of the podcast, because it's an extension of the podcast and we discuss a lot of the issues we do in the podcast and even more. And we'll be focusing on finding fulfillment in our work through leadership purpose. We'll address issues that face high-achieving women, issues and challenges, and we also will celebrate the achievements of high-achieving women. And you know, as I always say, what I mean by high-achieving women, women who are professional, ambitious, goal-oriented, doing all the things and supporting everyone else. This group is for you. And so I think you'd really enjoy it. And I'd love to have you come and join us. Love to have you come and join us. So if you're interested, come on over to Facebook and search for the Leadership Purpose Community, or go directly to the website, www.facebook.com/groups/Leadership Purpose Community. Again, www.facebook.com/groups/Leadership Purpose Community. I'd really love for you to join us. Hope to see you there. Okay, let's get to the episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Leadership Purpose with Dr. Robin podcast. So glad you're here and that you take time out of your busy day to listen into the podcast. And we really appreciate you for being here. And today I am talking with Amy Anderson. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Amy. Amy is the co-founder of Wild Coffee, and we'll hear more about that later. She is a widely respected and creative industry leader who sees the unique opportunity to leverage creativity to transform both brands and entire organizations across multiple sectors. She has a track record of driving value for clients through brand and growth strategies, designing teams, and innovative marketing. Her work at Wild Coffee is focused on transforming businesses through tailor-made teams that I know already from experience that she cares deeply about. Tailor-made teams that span brand strategy, digital marketing, PR, and marketing consulting. Amy has more than 25 years of experience at brands such as Calvin Klein and the New York Times Digital. Welcome, Amy Anderson.
Thank you so much, Dr. Robin. So glad to be here.
So glad you're here. So let's just jump right in.
Great.
Okay, so I gave a little bit of your bio, so it gives us some background, but tell everyone first a little bit about you and then about the work you do.
Awesome. Well, the 25 years is actually pulled back from 30 this summer that I will have been doing this, which is pretty incredible. Someone asked me yesterday, do you mind saying you've been doing this for 30 years? And I said, absolutely not. I've spent my entire career doing something that I love, which is mostly client-side marketing. So I've been a leader and a participant and a team member in multiple marketing teams spanning from business to business all the way through to consumer. And about 5 years ago, I had a life change and was going back to work and had 2 young boys and needed to figure out how I was going to support my family. And I started consulting, doing a little bit of strategy with some event planners, some restaurants in Miami, drawing on some of my experience, joined forces with my business partner who had hired me several years before, and we became partners and formed a consulting firm where we do outsource CMO works. We do a lot of marketing strategy. And then we figured out sort of the secret sauce and how to put together outsourced marketing teams to help companies grow. So now we are 20 distributed all over the US, and I absolutely love the work. And you're right, the people who work with me.
Yeah, I could definitely tell your passion when you were talking about them earlier. So tell us how you came to do this work, because you have such a passion, and I'm sure there's someone who's listening who may have lost their sense of passion or looking for their sense of passion.
I think it was sort of accidental. Being an entrepreneur, I hear stories of people saying, oh, I was selling lemons on the side of the road and had this side hustle and I was selling this. I did none of that. Absolutely none of it. I was a corporate person. I was an English and art history major with no purpose and got an interview at 17 magazine. And I think my career has really been a process of elimination, right? I loved media, but didn't really believe in print. So then I was doing broadcast for Calvin Klein, and then the internet sort of evolved, and I went to do some new media, and what they used to call it at the time. We had no idea. It was just called new media. And then I went to a pure.com play. So I think it's just been trying things. I never fancied myself as an entrepreneur. And then here I am with a team of 20 and growing at a pretty significant rate. So yeah, I think it's just jumping in sometimes, right?
That's amazing. And there's a lesson in the story, because sometimes you just learn by doing and going, and you could come across the thing that is your thing. Yeah.
I agree. It's how you build confidence too. I think that doing helps you cultivate a sense of confidence because there are small achievements along the way. Having this big grand goal to say, I want to be this, as opposed to just doing. And also, motivation comes from doing, not from thinking as well. So I think to just keep, someone asked me recently, do you have any pearls of wisdom for all of our listeners? And I said, just keep swimming, because especially during these times, I think just going and doing will start to get you there and not thinking about it as much.
Yes, yes. And, we could hear your passion. It's just coming through. It's not even oozing out. It's just rushing out.
I'm sure it's annoying to my children sometimes, the endless enthusiasm coming from a mother to teenage boys,
Well, from one person who has passion to another, I appreciate it. So tell us what you enjoy most about your work. Maybe give us a sense of, I don't want to say a daily activity, but a sense of it, because I don't know that everybody understands. We generally understand marketing, but to hear kind of some of a sneak peek into the world and what you enjoy so much about it.
Absolutely. Well, we do a lot of strategy, and I think that's actually our strength and differentiator as a firm. So people come to us with a business problem. Either they're not growing fast enough, they're in the midst of a turnaround, they've just gotten a tranche of investment money and need to accelerate. So they come to us with a problem. And for me, looking at what that issue or problem is and coming up with a strategy on how to solve it is that's where I'm in the flow of life, right? I was talking this Sunday, I was up at 4:30 in the morning because of some scheduling things, and I had to get up very early to work. I can get lost in hours of doing competitive research, doing the foundational work. Who is this company? Who are their consumers? What do they care about? What are their pain points? How do we solve that? What do we say about ourselves? What is our position in the market? And then you can start executing marketing. But what we see as a firm is a lot of companies will be put into a program. Here's your email marketing, here's your digital, here's your design, without doing that foundational work and that strategy work. That's absolutely my favorite. So it's like you writing a book without your outline. Right?
Yes. Yes, you got it. All right. So you said they asked you in another interview or something, they asked you about your pearls of wisdom, so to speak. But I'm going to ask you a similar question and preface it by saying, I created this podcast for high achieving women. And what I mean by that, women who are professional, ambitious, goal oriented, could be in an official leadership role or unofficial leadership role. The one who is responsible, doing all the things, the supportive person in her professional life, the supportive person in her personal life. And people just don't think she needs support. So I thought to myself, who supports her? So I create the podcast to say, all right, I'll just have other women who fit that description, just share from their experience, and then we can all support each other. And so given that kind of view of that woman in mind, What's some word of advice or some tips or hints or one thing that you would like to share?
Absolutely. I like to focus on progress and not perfection.
Yeah.
Right? Just what we were just talking about doing the same thing about the pressure that we put on ourselves with expectations and creating this big grand sort of goal or achievement. Why not just make progress? And maybe some days just getting dinner on the table is progress. Maybe some days closing your book with like a sales forecast is progress. And so I think that we need to stop looking at the outcome or the perfection and really just focus on the journey that we're in along the way. When my children were little, I used to say, oh, and it was such a story I told myself, which was, I'm not a great mom and I'm not a great professional. I'm mediocre at both. And I really am sad that that's the way I used to sort of see where I was then, where that achievement of doing two things or even one, of having a career and making progress in your personal life, making progress in your career, small accomplishments in doing is amazing. And it is not mediocrity on any level. And I remember standing at a cocktail party outside in Miami saying that to someone. And I sort of cringe thinking about that now because I'm thinking that was extraordinary.
Yeah.
The amount of pressure I think we put on ourselves. So to really just focus on moving things forward or moving things, sometimes they're going to go backwards, but just to have movement and do and not the perfection of the outcome.
Yes. Yes. And congratulations for moving from that, that thinking to the thinking where you are now. So good for you.
Thank you. I don't think that beating ourselves up and telling ourselves stories about mediocrity is a way to cultivate a sense of well-being and purpose in our lives.
Right.
I think acknowledging what we are doing, and we will see what we're looking for. Right. So if you're looking for mediocrity, if you're looking for the things you're not doing, that's what you're going to see. If you see and look for all the things that you're doing right, that's what is in the forefront of your vision, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We get what we expect and what we're
Yes,
looking. Yes.
absolutely.
And so speaking of purpose, as you know, my work is about leadership purpose. And so when you hear the term leadership purpose, what comes to your mind?
Well, for me, it's the why behind everything I do. So, Simon Sinek, who I really like a lot, will say leadership is a choice, not a rank. Right. And to know your values and the why is the purpose behind your leadership. That's what I'm looking for. And I think people will follow you for the why, not for the what.
Yes, yes. So do you think it's important to have leadership purpose?
I do, because otherwise it's a sort of mechanical and rudderless to me. When you have purpose that are aligned with your personal values, right? So, mine is really about creating extraordinary experiences for people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you are going to take a stop in your career and you're going to choose to work with Wild Coffee, then I want that to be an extraordinary experience for you. And that can be in sort of, in the vacation that we give, in the support that we offer you, and always helping you understand the why behind why we created the company. We're trying to help companies grow who can't bring all of these in-house resources for marketing in. So we have figured out a way, and it's exciting by producing extraordinary creative things. But for me, unless they had that purpose, why would they buy in and have a great experience? They have to know the why.
Yes, yes. And it sounds like the passion is coming through, but also that the sense of purpose that you bring to your own work. We can hear it as you're speaking about that. So now, is there anything that came into your mind while we were talking, or anything you want to add that I just didn't get a chance to ask you about?
Well, I've been thinking about sort of high achieving women and why we're a little bit different, what some of our pitfalls are. And I was reading recently a Harvard Business Review study where they talked about the fact that women and men align in our sense of confidence at age 40. And that between ages 20 and 60, women grow. Have you read this, Dr. Robin?
No.
29 percentage points increase in our confidence level between 20 and 60. Men only increase about 8 or 9%. Why is that? And we sort of have that intersection at 40. And I think that and at 60, we know, right? we absolutely know. And what makes me sort of think about that is that we have to experience years and years and years of success to have that confidence. when many men are sort of socialized as children and younger to just have it.
Yeah.
And it is my hope that women will just have it.
Yeah.
And that as time goes on and we have more access and we're giving more opportunities, that we will have it sooner. And that we will read that maybe women and men have the same increase in confidence as they go for their careers from 20 to 60. Men actually start to decline after 40.
Really?
Yes. And maybe that's ageism in business with them. I'm not sure. But, when I read that statistic and thinking, well, I get that, because it's not until, I'm 51 and I have lived 30 years of achieving, succeeding, growing, building, accumulating. And now I have it too. I didn't have it in my 30s. So I think we need to do things that scare us a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think we need to fake it till we make it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because do you believe that works, to go in and just go in with confidence, whether you have it or not? And I think we end up filling that space.
Yes. Act as if we have because we have to do it anyway. Might as well act with the confidence or a sense of confidence. Yeah.
Well, I walk into new business pitches and sometimes I don't have all the answers. I have experience, but I try to relate it. But yes, I have to walk in that way all the time. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good for you. That was definitely some pearls of wisdom.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm sure there are people listening saying, oh, I want to hear more. And so how could they be in touch with you?
Sure. Well, you can see samples of our work and our team at wildcoffeemarketing.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn as Amy Anderson at Wild Coffee. And we publish interviews and other articles and samples of our work. So you can see sort of a little bit about what we're about.
Great. Amy, it's such a joy talking with you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Lots of fun. Okay, everyone, if you want to hear more about me, you can reach me on my website, robinlowens.com. robinlowens.com, or you can reach me on your favorite social media channel at Robin L. Owens, PhD, Robin L. Owens, PhD. And I'd love to get a message from you. And just tell me, what do you think about the podcast? I'd love to hear from you. Robin L. Owens, PhD. And until next time, this is Dr. Robin. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Leadership Purpose with Robin podcast. If you enjoyed it, head on over and rate and subscribe so you never miss an episode. New episodes drop every week, and I can't wait to hang out with you again soon. Meanwhile, this is Robin signing off. See you next time.